anime episodes that were banned. And as someone that loves some good anime episodes, especially the banned ones, I am more than down to see exactly what he has going on here.
Due to differences in regional cultures, distribution rights, and other related reasons, it's common to find entire shows or episodes that can't be aired in some territories. In this video, we dive into the interesting world of anime to find out more about 6 episodes that have been banned for one reason or another.
Okay.
Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about anime. Now,
Anime jump scare.
Be honest with you guys, I didn't really grow up watching anime.
Cringe, fake fan, cringe.
Did have help from my team writing this episode out. And I'll let you guys know that there are 6 episodes on this list, and 3 of them, half of them, are Pokemon. Pokemon just because...
Oh, dude, I'm telling you, that's exactly what I was saying. The Pokemon ones just get banned. It's either for boobs, for seizures, or for racism. Isn't that the greatest thing? That's the holy trinity, bro.
Because I really like the show, and that's like the closest I got to watching anime growing up. But other than that, I don't want to be a fake fan and be like, yep, I watch all these. No. Just interesting video concept. Yeah, just quickly wanted to say that before we got into the video. But now, let's get into the topic. Pokemon, episode 38, Electric Soldier Porygon.
That's it, baby. It's the seizure episode. I knew about
1997.
this one.
This episode, titled Deno Senshi Porygon, is one of the most talked about when it comes to anime bans globally. It aired in Japan in December 1997, and it sparked wide-ranging concerns after causing about 700 people in Japan to have different health issues.
It gave 700 people seizures. This was a terrorist attack in disguise.
Including seizures. Some sources like Vice say that the number could have been as high as 12,000 kids.
What?
Still, Vice reports that about 600 cases were actually genuine, and that the rest of the cases could have been a result of mass hysteria from schoolyard talk by Japanese kids. However, even though there were cases of mass hysteria, it's not like those victims didn't experience genuine symptoms. According to CNN, the television network TV Tokyo sought the assistance of doctors, animation experts, and psychologists to find out why it triggered seizures in hundreds of children.
I don't know, maybe it's the insane flashing lights in the episode. I actually did watch this original episode. It's wild.
Specific day that it aired, a Tuesday, more than 700 people, mostly school kids, were rushed to the hospital with symptoms of vomiting, convulsions, and irritated eyes, among others. A day later, on Wednesday, about 200 of those people, ages 3 to 58, were still in the hospital. What exactly triggered the attacks? Well, about 20 minutes into the episode, there's a 4-second sequence where Pikachu attacks a group of vaccine missiles, and as he detonates a thunderbolt, the explosion causes red and blue lights to flash rapidly across the screen. The storyline behind the episode is that Ash and his friends find something wrong with the Pokemon.
Yeah, oh my god, you're really gonna show the friends from Black and White? Come on, man. Come on, don't do my boys like that.
Pokeball, the device used to capture and transmit Pokemon, and in order to fix
really explain what a Pokeball is. I'm dying.
They have to go inside it. They are accompanied by Porygon, a computerized Pokemon, and once inside, they discover that Team Rocket and another Porygon were to blame. A battle then ensues. In the explosion scene, the flashes were bright strobe lights and had blinks at a rate of about 12 Hz for approximately 6 seconds.
Yeah.
This is believed to have triggered photosensitive epilepsy in some viewers. Following the incident,
yeah, that's all I heard. There was like a lot of flashes, and that was it.
TV Tokyo apologized to the public and
I love how they didn't ban the Tentacruel hentai episode. That's totally fine.
Suspended the program. TV broadcasters in Japan began adding on-screen warnings against watching the TV too close to the screen and encouraging watching in well-lit rooms. There was such a huge stir that even the Ministry of Health in Japan got involved. The company behind the show, Nintendo, also experienced shocks as
that's a Senpai Notice Me moment if I've ever heard one.
Share price fell by 3.2%, and video stores removed the Pokemon anime from their shelves. It took a 4-month break.
Video stores removed the Pokemon anime from their shelves? This is a backlash way bigger than I actually originally thought.
Before the dust settled enough for episodes 39 and 40 to be aired. This episode was removed from circulation and has never been aired in any country since. An interesting fact is that the media dubbed the incident, quote, Pokemon shock. This reference has been alluded to in other shows such as The Simpsons and South Park. Episode 41, titled The Ice Cave, was banned because of a character named
Jinx. I told you.
Jinx and her
literally, did I call all 3 of the Pokemon ones that he had just off the top of my head? No shot.
Appearance. The storyline of the episode is that Ash and his friends go on a shortcut route to Blackthorn City, and after battling Team Rocket, Brock has a cold, and the gang ends up at a Pokemon Center. The nurse attending to Brock is Jinx, who has jet black skin, huge lips in pink, big eyes, blonde flowing hair, cleavage, and hips. This appearance was extremely controversial. For instance, Carol Boston Weatherford, a cultural critic and writer at News and Record, termed Jinx as resembling, quote, an overweight drag queen incarnation of Little Black Sambo.
Oh god, that's way more articulated than I've ever heard it. Oh no!
End quote. The Little Black Sambo reference was mirroring a racist stereotype from a children's book published in 1899 that was banned from libraries due to its insulting stereotypes. The book particularly caused a stir among...
Jinx never struck me as a drag queen. The fact that you see that is terrifying. Sometimes when you hear people just figuring out how things are racist in ways that normal humans would never perceive, it's like, who's really the racist one?
American civil rights activists in the 1930s and 40s because the illustrations were said to elicit the idea of an African American as, quote, an unimagined, subhuman, black juvenile who was typically depicted outdoors, merely accepting, or even inviting violence, terrifying. End quote. In her article, Weatherford said, Jinx clearly denigrates African Americans, particularly black women. So in general, this episode was banned from airing in the US due to having blackface connotations.
See, the blackface thing with the red lips, honestly, I do see that. But going the extra step to say it's like this drag queen prostitute because it shows cleavage and has hips and blonde hair, that's over and beyond. I would have never in a million years thought of that.
In some way, the appearance of Jinx, especially her face, is reminiscent of the Jim Crow era in the 1830s in America, where white performance in blackface played, quote, black characters that perpetuated a range of negative stereotypes about African Americans. Some of these stereotypes included being lazy, ignorant, overly sexual, criminal, superstitious, and even cowardly. These performers, often white men from the North, are thought to have done so to assert their dominance over African Americans. The controversy around Jinx led to the character being made purple. Still, the Pokemon episodes The Ice Cave and Holiday High Jinx were not aired in the US and some other English-speaking countries. It wasn't until December 2011 that the episode was accessible to US audiences after it was put on on-demand services. Also, at some point, Kids WB aired the episodes in a jumbled up order to avoid them landing on air around February, which is Black History Month.
No way! I didn't know that. That's crazy.
So it's clear through all the hurdles TV faces trying to make the episode safe for viewers that this episode's controversy might persist for years. Demon Slayer, episodes 1 through 18.
Huh? Demon Slayer got... Bro, this is the golden opportunity to talk about interspecies reviewers. The golden opportunity to shed light on the golden boy of anime. But what? How did Demon Slayer's first 18 episodes get banned? I never heard of this.
2019. So far, we've seen situations...
If you say that it's because of the Tanjiro's earrings looks like a Japanese imperialist symbol, I am gonna commit not a lie.
Where
in Minecraft.
Episodes are banned. In this next episode, we're going to be talking about censorship. Interestingly enough, it was for an entire season. The show in focus is Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba, an anime that debuted
This is a man who's never seen Demon Slayer.
In 2019 and became really popular with global audiences. It has a really interesting storyline where the main character, Tenjiro Kamado, a teenager, trains to become a demon slayer. This is after his family is killed and his
this was definitely not written by him.
Sister turned into a demon. He keeps getting better and rises through the demon slayer ranks. The show has 4 seasons so far, all available to watch in the US. What's weird is that the entire original 18 episodes of season 2 are banned in China. The distributing studio in China had to remake characters and give them additional clothing as well as body features.
That's not banned anime, god damn it. Are you gonna say every Yu-Gi-Oh card that they freaking censored and added stuff to in the 4Kids that's censored and banned also? Alright, come on, man.
Why? Well, China has a strict policy on shows displaying or promoting violence and sex, and in this case, Demon Slayer Season 2 was said to be too sexual. An anime fan from China, through screenshots shared via Twitter, compared the images of Tengen Uzui's 3 wives.
Base Tengen, base Tengen, base Tengen, true absolute mad lad Giga Chad. I freaking love that man so much.
Suma, Hinatsu.
He's everything that everyone wants to be. He is a real man's man. This is a man that would crush Andrew Tate's entire ego in his biceps alone.
Uru and Makio. In the original release available in the US
release, let's freaking go!
and other parts of the world, the woman's cleavages can be seen, while in the Chinese version, the cleavages are covered in additional clothing. Other users also pointed out that the Chinese version of the characters had, quote, tamed body features such as reduced breast size. This ban
lame, cringe China moment.
Sparked conflicting reactions
Winnie the Pooh ass motherfuckers
among the fans, with some being glad that China was taking action against how overly sexualized women in anime could be, Another perspective on the ban is that during the season, one of Tanjiro's enemies has very revealing attire. This happens when Tanjiro teams up with Sound Hashira to fight two demon siblings.
China's scared of boobs? I mean, to be fair, they're kind of scary. They're beautiful, but they're also terrifying in their own right.
During the fight, Gaki's obi, a sash that ties her kimono, change into snake-like weapons, and this means without the kimono, her attire remains to just a bra and underwear.
And?
It is thus alleged that the Chinese censors found Daki's bikini underwear to be too revealing for their audiences.
I see a huge problem with the fact that there is still a bikini. I think that we should remove it entirely.
A different version of the ban is that it could simply be China's new government policy that requires, quote, characters to be less sexualized while ensuring they aren't a negative influence on the youth or promoting values that might cause them to catch the gay. Whatever the reason, it sucks when the—
Why is this in quotes? No one said that it's promoting values that might make them catch the gay. There is no shot this is a real quote from anything anywhere. Oh god.
Influence on the youth or promoting values that might cause them to catch the gay. Whatever the reason, it sucks when the original content can't be perceived the way the creators wanted you to see it. But this one is interesting, as don't like the way females are overly sexualized in anime, so there's like a 50-50 on this one, I guess.
Honestly, I will not disagree with the fact that I do understand censoring some things that you don't want to be as sexualized. I am not that against it per se. Obviously, I always prefer the original for two reasons, both of which are attached to her chest. Maybe that's just me out there catching the gay, as it were.
Cowboy Bebop, Episode 19, Wild Horses, 1998. Another great anime based on the fan consensus and anime reviews is Cowboy Bebop. The Conversation publication, for instance, calls it a genre-bending storyline, claiming that it offers a pastiche of many international influences, including the mafia bits of American movies, Italian Western films, Japanese cyberpunk, and the martial styles common to Hong Kong movies. It equally does a great job sampling of international music and overall shows the transnational potential of anime. Now, with this great introduction, it might seem odd that the show had a banned episode, but yeah, Cowboy Bebop had one of its episodes pulled from airing, albeit temporarily.
I think I know which one
this also happened despite the series being relatively short, just 26 episodes. The show popularly aired non-stop on Cartoon Network's Adult Swim in the 2000s. In 2003, however, one of the episodes, episode 19, titled Wild Horses, was pulled from rotation since it involved Space Shuttle Columbia, which had burned up upon re-entry. In Wild Horses,
I didn't know about this.
Spike returns to Earth in a spacecraft, Swordfish 2, and goes to get it fixed by Doohan, his friend. While waiting for a spare part for fixing the craft, Spike and the rest of the Bebop crew learn of a bounty in the area, and so he takes a swordfish on the mission.
Actually, this might be
the target then
episode
turns out to be a dangerous hacker, and he manages to hack the navigational components of Spike's and Faye's crafts. While they triumph against the bounty, Spike's craft starts failing, and Jet doesn't have a chance of getting there in time. Doohan suddenly comes to the rescue, having restored an old craft. He rescues Spike from burning up. However, this restored craft has problems with the heat of re-entry, but ultimately the passengers make it back to Earth. This episode was first aired in the US.
That's crazy. I didn't know about this at all. That it was too similar to a tragedy that happened at the time.
In 2001. By coincidence, it had a lot of parallels with the real-life Space Shuttle Columbia. On February 1st, 2003, Columbia was returning from a 16-day mission, and when re-entering the Earth's atmosphere, it burned up, killing all 7 astronauts that were on board. It turned out that the shuttle had experienced damage to its heat.
It's like, well, we didn't want to post this episode of Game of Thrones because, you know, there was a person that was killed in this episode, and it's kind of reminding us of the person that was killed right now in the war going on in the freaking somewhere in the world.
Protection tiles during launch, and the damage went unnoticed. You can probably see the parallels between these two situations and understand why Adult Swim chose to remove the episode from rotation for a while.
I don't.
Actually, just like in the episode where Doohan—
I mean, I see the parallels, but like, you're really gonna ban an episode because it's similar to a tragedy that happened in real life? Like, do you know that I'd say 50% of media is based off tragedies? Like, it's all based on that.
Goes off about how re-entry would be dangerous due to the damage of the insulating tiles. The Columbia shuttle burned up due to damage to the insulating tiles on its left wing. So, was the episode banned forever? Well, it turned out that Wild Horses was just the perfect homage to the Space Shuttle Columbia, and thus it bounced back stronger after the incident. It thus continued being shown in reruns. A fun fact is that other Cowboy Bebop episodes, Cowboy Funk, Sympathy for the Devil, and Waltz for Venus, were banned temporarily in the US for different reasons, including showcasing a skyscraper bombing that collapsed the building. Sailor Moon, episode 67.
Okay, this I never heard of. I didn't know there were any Sailor Moon episodes that got banned.
The Sea, an Island, Vacation, The Senshi Relax, 1991. Anime fans should be very familiar with this show, as it seems to be a top-tier anime in the community. For anyone else, just know that Sailor Moon—
Spoken like someone that hasn't really watched any anime. Bro, Tuv, listen. I am all for you making anime content, but watch them maybe a little sometimes.
Has global acclaim for its great storyline, characters, and humor, and has been around since 1991. That is, including the manga. The specific episode we're looking at is episode 67, titled The Sea, an Island, Vacation, the Senshi Relax.
Is it a beach episode? Did they really ban a beach episode? Oh man, give the people what they want, god damn.
It focuses on Chibiusa's disappearance in the ocean over a fuss with Rei, and how Sailor Senshi ends up saving her from a volcanic eruption. Now, the episode's storyline
Volcanic erection, goddamn,
is pretty straightforward and may leave you wondering why it got banned in the first place. Well, the ban had nothing to do with the contents of the episode, but rather the rights. There were several players involved.
Oh, it was one of those. It was one of those. It was stupid. It was rights. Oh.
In the US, DIC Entertainment was responsible for the dubbing and distribution. The original rights lay with Toei, the Japanese animation studio. Now, since DIC wanted to do things its way, as it syndicated the series to American stations, it compressed it to 65 episodes and thus ended up cutting out a lot of content from the original version. They cut episodes 2, 5, 6, 20, and 42 from the first season and merged episodes 45 and 46. Then in season 2, they simply cut out episode 67. This means American audiences ended up missing out on a lot of content. Then DIC's contract with the show ended at a time when it had taken
I hate when it's just stupid corporate bullshittery that just ruins it for everybody.
Off on Toonami, a Cartoon Network / Adult Swim program. The new contract carrier, Cloverway Studios, was tasked with supplying more episodes of seasons 3 and 4, and so they tried making an uncut version of the series, although they did so by American network standards, so the first 2 seasons never got an uncut version, even in DVD format.
Of course.
The contract between DIC and Toei had made this impossible to achieve. As fans continued to demand for the uncut version, DIC contracted ADV
You mean like my penis?
Films to make the DVD versions. In the deal, ADV Films was to negotiate with Toei and then use the uncut tapes that DIC had originally received from Toei. However, a hiccup arose here. When ADV Films contacted Toei to negotiate to release the episodes, they realized DIC had lost the uncut version of episode 67.
Dude, do they know that their name is DIC? Like, when they came up with the name DIC, did they know that they're literally calling their studio Dick Studios?
Toei couldn't send them any new files because then that would demand a new licensing contract, and Toei had aimed to let all global distribution contracts by third parties lapse. Fans just had to settle for a low quality audio and picture in the DVD version without episode 67. It wasn't until
that is so lame, bro, for no reason.
A decade later that Viz Media got a deal to distribute the series in North America that fans of Sailor Moon got to watch the high quality uncut version of episode 67. Was the wait worth it? The fact, however, remains that for 10 years, the full uncut version of Sailor Moon's episode 67 was banned from the US. It couldn't legally be distributed just because DIC lost the original copy. Pokemon, episode 19. Tentacool, and this episode was banned in the US twice. The first ban was because it aired at a time when bringing down a skyscraper would be a sore joke. This was in 2001, when, if you know your history well, September 11th attack happened. This particular Pokemon episode follows Ash, Misty, and Brock on their adventure as they arrive in Porta Vista, a city, and are faced with an attack from Tentacool, aka the Zubat of the Seas, which are an angry—
Did he say the Zubat of the Seas without even getting the reference? I'm telling you, he just looked up Tentacruel with like some funny adjective, and he had no idea what joke he just made.
Group of monsters, and they follow their leader, which is a giant-sized Tentacruel. In one scene, a robotic voice says, "It is known as the gangster of the sea," in reference to Tentacruel. And then Ash says, "That must be the gang leader." In the episode, there's a citywide destruction, extreme flooding, and hundreds of jellyfish monsters causing havoc. You can therefore see why the episode was banned, because while it was just one of those Ash and Pikachu adventures, it would have rubbed Western audiences the wrong way. The studio airing it at the time, Kids Warner Brothers, refused to air it due to the scene where Tentacruel, the giant monster, destroyed a skyscraper with its tentacles.
You know what's kind of ironic though? That scene of Tentacruel destroying the building is in the Pokemon theme song that plays in every single episode of Pokemon.
The second ban happened after Cartoon Network took over the series, started airing it well into 2005. This time the ban was because of Hurricane Katrina. This was one of the most destructive hurricanes in US history.
See, they banned it. There's no way they banned it because of a hurricane.
It hit the Gulf Coast on the morning of—
What, it offends victims of hurricanes? Like, come on, man.
August 29th, 2005, and stretched about 400 miles across. It led to an estimated $100 billion worth of damage, and had hundreds of thousands of people displaced in Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. The effects of the hurricane were so devastating that it would have been very uncomfortable to watch that specific episode. Interestingly, the story in the episode is about Tentacool, a jellyfish Pokemon, protecting their home from Nastina, who is trying to build a hotel for the wealthy right above a coral reef that they inhabit. Nastina hires Team Rocket to exterminate Tentacool, but the device that they try to use in the extermination hits one tentacle and then turns him into a tentacruel. Knowing
pollution. What a beautiful way the world works.
this storyline can even attack a bigger and deeper meaning to the episode's ban. For example, Climate Central attributed part of the hurricane's destructive abilities to wetland degradation, which is definitely a man-made problem, sort of like nature striking back because we have meddled too much with our natural landscapes, like drainage patterns across the coast.
You are joking.
If you guys like,
there is no way some high up corporate dude was like, yes, this Pokemon episode is getting a little too deep. It's hitting us a little too much where we live. Yes, technically, the reason why this hurricane happened is because of the fluids that we've poured into the ocean to make things toxic, and then the hurricane happened. But we don't want people to know. The Pokemon's got the freaking true information. We will definitely, as going to be banning this, we don't want people to get the wrong idea from the Pokemon episode. There's no way it's some evil conspiracy like that. Come on, man. And he didn't even mention the James Boobs episode that got banned. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know, there was an episode where James had boobs in Pokemon and it got banned because of James's boob. Why am I saying this so many times? Because it was hilarious. Thanks, Tuv. That was a good video, sort of. I appreciate it.
Like, subscribe, and follow me on Twitch. Stay weird, fam.